Well, hello again. There's the cut that you guys heard about in my last video. It's starting to get dark out. So I literally had to, I'm not sure what I'm saying literally. I had to switch where I was, turn that light on, and like shift my position. So I am no longer leaning against the bed. Well, I guess I could if I wanted to. So this is going to be part of a series, and the series is that my dad is haunted by ghosts. I think, anyways, because everywhere I've been, I have either sensed a presence, heard about stories that kind of probably are paranormal. There also could be explanations for these stories. And I've witnessed some of them as well. And one of them, or a few of them, are in the house that I used to live with, which my grandmother lives there now. Except I used to live upstairs and she used to live downstairs. And one of the houses is, what was the second house? Oh, one of the houses was in Candor, when he lived in Candor above my mom's friend. That's great, friend. Well, she's not really my mom's friend anymore, I don't think. But, you know, they used to be friends. My dad used to live above her. Also, that's like the longest story on here, so that one might be, like, there are the longest stories on this one, so that one might have like multiple parts to it. House 3 is the one that my aunt and uncle used to live, or they do live in it now, but it's the story that my aunt and uncle used to live, or why do I keep saying used to live in? It's the house my aunt and uncle live in right now. And my dad used to live with them for a while because he used to live here. So after he and mom divorced, he moved in here, and then he ended up moving out and living in Candor, and then after Candor he lived with my aunt and uncle. And now he lives here again. Yeah, and then this is the other house that has stories from it, which most of those stories I'm going to put like with the house, so I'm not going to like tell all of the stories in order because I had heard some of these stories before he lived here recently. I'd heard most of them when he lived here before, like the first time he lived here before he moved to Candor. Fun facts from Vinny. So the frick? Oh, I think my dad might be coming upstairs. I don't know. I heard somebody. So, story 1, or house 1, family house. Little background story on family house. My great-grandparents came here from Italy. Well, not here, but like to New York from Italy, and built a house. And so like literally my family has lived in that house for all of those generations. My great-grandparents and my great-uncle, or great-great-grandparents and great-great-uncle. My great-grandparents, my great-aunt, I think, lived there. Or I know she lived there because we lived above her. My cousin Jody owned it for a while, like while no one was living in it. Or maybe even while my aunt was living in it, I don't really know, but I know that she owned it. And I lived there, and my grandmother lives there now. But she lives on the bottom half, and I used to live on the top half of it. And it used to be like all one house, I think. From the stories I heard, it used to be all one house. But they changed, like, the dining room, I think is what it is, when you first walk in, used to have stairs leading up into the top half of it. But they got rid of it for some reason. They got rid of that for some reason. And so now there's the bottom half, which has the dining room when you first walk in, living room here, so like right next to it, kitchen, like right across from it. From the kitchen you have my cousin Richie's bedroom, then my grandmother's bedroom. Between both of them on this side is the bathroom, and then at the very end of the hall is the back room, which also has the like the door to get out back, and then the cellar right next to it. So, and then the top half is like literally like around the side of the house. You go up the stairs, and there's like the first half of it, which I think is an office area, is what it looks like. And then you walk in through the office area, there's the kitchen, my mom's room. Walk past the kitchen, there's what used to be my dad's room, and then my room. And my mom and I said that we wanted to move back upstairs above my grandmother, and that she would get her old room and I would get my dad's old room, and then my old room would be a TV room. And then like the living room is in, so like my room and my dad's old room, my old room and my dad's old room was where the living room is. And then like right next to my room is the bathroom. And then like outside the bathroom is a balcony, kind of, which nobody goes on the balcony anymore because it's literally falling apart. So I was around like 2 to 4 when these stories happened. So most of them I don't remember, but I have heard stories of some of them, and some of them happened to me, and again, I didn't remember them. Also, hold on. My bangs are starting to upset me. Nope, that looks stupid. Never mind. So, the first one I remember hearing... Okay, yeah, so 2 to 4, I don't remember most of them. Okay, that's a doll. I don't remember most of them, and my only choices were a futon that was in my room, a crib in my mom's room, or my mom's bed for sleeping. I would probably mostly choose mom's bed, only because I didn't have a bed until later after Dad had gotten divorced with her, or after Mom had divorced him. So I was sleeping in my mom's bed with my mom was on one side of it and I was on the other, and I was facing the kitchen, and I remember like seeing a shadow, and like I said, like the office is over here, and then the living room's over here, and then like there's a window in the kitchen that, like, I'm trying to figure out how to explain it. There was a window in the kitchen, and like I don't think there were any curtains, and if they were always open. So the like moonlight would be shining, and my mom's door was always open. And there was a shadow, like late at night. I don't know why I was awake at this hour. Keep in mind, I was like 3. So there's like a shadow that walks past, and then it walks back the other way, and it does it again and again, and eventually I go, I like turn around, like roll over, shake my mom awake, and go, Mom. Literally something happened. You know what? I'm gonna go close. Somebody is outside. Hold on. Okay. It's just my grandfather out there. Okay, so as I was saying, I like woke my mom up and said, Mommy, what's that shadow? And she like rolled over and looked, and I was like pointing at like where the shadow was. And I would go, there it is. And she's like, there's no shadow there. There's nothing there. What are you looking at? Like, keep in mind, a 3-year-old child seeing a disembodied shadow, thinking that maybe it's just people like walking on the streets at that hour. And my birth name is Julie, by the way. So she's like watching it. She's like, Julie, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. And I'm like, yeah, there is, Mommy. There's a shadow, like, right there. And it walked by, and I was like, right there. Don't you see it? And she's like, there's literally nothing there. What are you looking at? And I guess eventually she, like, ended up going back to sleep. And she was like, my child just has an overactive imagination. I mean, most little kids do. That happened for multiple nights. Eventually I just stopped waking her up because like she didn't see it, and I was really, really confused. And I was never really like scared of it for some reason. And I was never scared of it. It was always just really confusing for me, because how come I was able to see this disembodied shadow but nobody else could see it? I was an odd child. Maybe I could just see, like, I can't see anything anymore, but like, because I used to be able to like see ghosts, kind of. At least that's what I call it, because I believe very much in the paranormal, and it scares me. But like now I can't see it. I just like sense presences. And usually, you guys are probably going to figure this out after multiple stories of this happening, but people are freaking outside moving stuff around. I'm going to get a little scared of what's going on, because especially when I'm telling these stories, probably isn't a good idea to be telling these stories in a haunted house, but I don't care. And to add on to the story, after Mom and Dad divorced, and after I got my own room, I never experienced anything with that shadow, like, ever. So, whatever it was probably family, because family's the only people that ever lived there, but, like, I never witnessed it again, so I wonder if it was literally trying to mess with Dad, because my cousin even told me, that the ghosts there don't like. Here's another reason why I believe that it's ghosts. Multiple people in my family have said that they've witnessed something ghostly in that house. And, like, my cousin Joe, my cousin Jackie, like, everybody. Except for my mom. And probably my dad. Well, no, my dad. No, they both witnessed it. They just didn't witness that specific thing. So I'm beginning to think that the ghosts were trying to mess with my dad, because my cousin had even said that the ghosts didn't like anyone who wasn't in our family. So, like, someone who was married to a family member and they moved in there with that family member, the ghost was probably trying to mess with them and get rid of them. And there's, like, multiple ones there, too. It's really freaky. Okay. Man. I don't remember this one. Probably because I was really, really little. But both my mom and my dad. Somebody's walking up the stairs. If that's a ghost, I have holy water and I will spray you with it.
Holy water doesn't work on ghosts.
Oh, it's my dad. I'm making a YouTube video.
I see.
This is the fourth one I've recorded all day.
If you're not hungry right now, but before the store closes, I think I'm going to order a pizza, so whenever you want some.
Ooh, I like pizza.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay, baby.
Alright, wait, do you want to say hi to the people on my YouTube channel? Come here and say hi.
No.
No, come here and say
I'm
hi.
good.
Come here and say hi.
I'm good.
Come on. Well. Yeah, so I don't remember this one. But both my mom and my dad have said that in my room, my toys would always go off. Keep in mind, I wouldn't stay in my... Okay, that is focused. I wouldn't stay in my room. I slept in mom's room. And I guess usually it happened at night that this but like one night my dad said that he couldn't sleep. Somebody coming back up the stairs? Maybe not, maybe he's just walking down. But my dad couldn't sleep, and he said that he heard my toys going off, and the ones that I was told go off were the alphabet one that I had. It was like an apple, and it had like little keys all over it, and like they were alphabets, and so like you press the A, and it's like A is for apple, B is for bear, and it would like go on all the way to Z. And that would go off. I had a Tickle Me Elmo when I was little. I don't know whatever happened to it. One of my cousins probably have it now. But that would go off, and I don't know what it was. It was like a little thingy that you like stick on the window. Like it had the like little. If I had one with me, I'd show you. It had like the little suction cuppy thingy that you like stick it on a window and it moves. You like move it and it like goes road trip. So like that went off. And like my dad was watching wrestling like he usually did when he couldn't sleep. And he said that he heard those toys go off. Like in a specific order too. And it would always be the same order, so it's not like something running back and forth. And maybe it was something running back and forth and it just like didn't hit them on its way back. But he walked in, flipped on the light, nothing was there. Everything was silent when that happened. He shut it off again, went back out and continued watching wrestling. A couple minutes later, he heard it again in the same order. And I want to say it was, I'm not going to say it was that order that I mentioned, but it was like in a constant order, so it wasn't like it was just like randomly. He walked in again, flipped on the light, nothing was there, turned it off, walked back, and continued watching wrestling. After the third time, he walked in, went, alright, cut it out, shut it off, walked back out, and it stopped. And the time that my mom had witnessed it, or the multiple times that my mom had witnessed it, and I really, really wish that they had, like, written down what this thing said, the little alphabet thing had said, because I'm really curious, and if I had known that I was going to do, I'm sure if they had known I was going to do YouTube videos on this, they probably would have, but, well, but, like, the alphabet thing would always, like, spell out words and sentences and phrases. And then, like, they'd just be talking. They'd ignore it. And then my mom said that one time, I think she might have been talking with my grandmother or something, I don't know. And she heard, "Elmo's not ticklish there." And she just kind of, like, stopped short in her tracks, glanced over towards my room, and then just continued her business. And then she would always hear like, the little road trip guy yell, "Road trip," like, who moved it? Because he only talks when you move him. Like, if there's nobody in my room to move him, I don't know. My life is freaking weird. Okay, I remember this. I remember hearing this. Right after my Uncle Joe died, my mom was watching, and my mom had told me this one. She was watching Click, if anybody even remembers that movie. It's Adam Sandler, and it's about that universal remote, and it's literally a universal remote, and you can, like, pause time, and then, like, do whatever, and then you can, like, mute people or things. You can, like, fast forward so that you have time to do whatever. Somebody walked into the hallway. Oh, it was Grandpa. And whatnot like that. And so she'd finished watching it, turned it off, went into, like I said, like, the living room is right here, and then, like, the bathroom's right next to it. So she went into the bathroom, started brushing her teeth, and she heard voices out in the living room. So she, like, went out into the living room, looked at it, the TV was on. And she thought, okay, maybe I didn't turn the TV all the way off, and I just thought that I did, and it started playing again. So she turned it all the way, she, like, made sure that she shut everything off, went back into the bathroom, and continued getting ready for bed. She heard voices in the living room again. Walked back out, and the TV was on again. She's like, okay, I know I shut it off. She shut it off again. And after that, after, like, a couple of times, it finally stopped. God, it's getting dark. It finally stopped, and she was like, okay, and she even said that she thought that it could have been Uncle Joe messing with her, because he did that a lot when he was, like, alive. He did that a lot when he was alive. He did that a lot when they were kids, when they were teenagers. So it was very possible that it was him just messing with her. And yeah. So I mean, also I swear, if any of these ghosts like come and haunt me after telling their stories, okay, I don't remember this one at all. But I was really, it was mostly because I was really, really little. But my dad couldn't sleep, and he was, y'all gotta quit freaking moving around. He couldn't sleep, and he was watching wrestling. And, and so he was watching wrestling, and I guess I was in my crib, which was in my room, I guess at the time. And I was in a dead ass sleep when this happened. Keep in mind. He said that he heard me wake up, sit up in my crib, and say, "Hi. Yeah, mommy, daddy sleeping. Okay, I go sleep too." And then I laid back down and went back to sleep. And this isn't the only time that I have talked to nothing, because my mom, like, she'd be out, like, in the kitchen, like, doing dishes or whatnot. And she would always, like, shut the doors to my room, Dad's room, and her room, because the windows were really, really low, and she wanted to make sure that that little 2-year-old Vinny wasn't gonna climb out the window and go, "Hey!" and, like, fall, like, you know, because I guess children, like, they're about as low as that. Like, I could those of you who don't know, like, I could easily walk out of there as a small child and end up hurting myself. So she would always, like, close the doors to the other rooms, to the, like, the bathroom, to my room, to Dad's room, to her room. And, like, I would be in the living room, and I'd, like, get down on the floor, put my head sideways, and, like, talk through the crack in my room. Like, under the door into my room. And it wouldn't even be, like, normal talk. It'd be, like, baby gibberish. So, like, nobody could ever tell what I was saying. And I was also witnessed talking to walls. Well, I mean, now I'm talking to a camera, but, like, I would, like, sit in a corner, face the wall, and literally just sit there and talk to it. Again, I was a weird child. Okay, yeah. So, the next story will be probably another one of these scary ones. I also have one about an ex coming up as well, so that'll be really fun. It won't be fun. But yeah, again, if you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you are liking the content that I'm making, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.